Uncle Mike, 671, and today we're going to be replacing the brakes and the rotors on a 1995 Mercury Tracer.
Tools you will need or should have are a lug wrench, ratchet and a 14mm socket or 14mm wrench, car jack, car stands, large C-clamp or a large channel locks, brake cleaner, brake fluid, clean cloth, brake grease, torque wrench, wheel blocks, and a set of needle nose pliers and a stiff wire about 12 inches in length.
Well, the first thing I did is I pulled the car up on the rams. I'm going to set the emergency brake and put it in gear. Slowly let the clutch out, I test it, and all is secure. On to the next step. And don't forget to chock the wheel for added safety to make sure the car doesn't roll back. Now I'm going to break the lug nuts loose before I jack up the car. Now that I've got the car jacked up, and I've got the jack stands underneath it, I'm going to go ahead and take the wheel off. Well, now that I got the wheel off, I'm going to get inside and I'm going to turn the wheels to the right. It's going to make it a lot easier to access this caliper. Now I'm going to remove the caliper mounting bolts right here and right here. And these are going to be size 14mm. Alright, now we're going to remove the brake pads and the pin that holds them in. Alright, so now we're going to pull the caliper off. When you pull this caliper off, the brake pads are probably going to fall out on the ground. And make sure you've got something here beforehand to support it. I got a little bit of a chain here, but you can use a wire, a hanger, anything like that. Sometimes it might be stubborn. Just kind of wiggle it and take your time. Yeah, you don't want no pressure hanging on this brake hose or brake line. And now I'm going to slide the rotor off. Now that I got the rotor and I got the caliper off, I'm going to install the new brake pads. But before I do, I'm going to go up top and loosen up the cap off the master cylinder, the brake master cylinder. That way whenever I compress the caliper, the fluid has some place to go. But as you're pressing it in, you got to make sure you keep an eye that the reservoir doesn't overflow. Well, now I've taken the old brake pad and I've set it up inside the brake caliper, and I'm going to squeeze the cylinder down some so I can fit the new pads on because of the new thickness. There it goes. At the same time, I'm leaning my head up over the car and I'm looking at the master cylinder reservoir to make sure it's not overflowing. I like to take brake lean, spray it on there, or soap and water. Some people like to use soap and water, but to each his own. And wipe it down. Alright. Then I put the new rotor on. And I put a couple of lug nuts on to help hold it in place whenever I put the new rotor on. Alright, well now we're going to put the brake pads on. I like to put the little pins in first. I take the outer brake pad, balance it on my knee, get it started. Top pin, the second pin, Sorry if you guys can't see very well. Not for sure how to get this camera angle. Then I take the inside brake pad. And you guys probably got a lot easier way to do this. If you do, just put it in the comments below and let me know. Slide it forward. Put in that bottom pin. Make sure it goes through there, the little holes. And there we go. Got that part. Put the top pin in and the bottom pin. I'm going to line up the little holes where this goes. Make sure the pins don't come out. Make sure everything stays nice and snug. There you have it. Now we're going to slide it onto the rotor. Something I forgot to mention. When you push this back, this brake caliper cylinder, push the float pins back too. It'll help you access whenever you get past these little dog ears on the, or whatever you want to call them, on the hub. And there you have it. Now I'm going to go put a little bit of brake grease on these. Make sure they slide nice and smooth inside the float pins. Alright, now we're going to put the caliper bolts back in. Now we're going to tighten these two down, and they are 14s. We're going to torque them down to about 25 to 38 foot-pounds. There we go. Now that I've got the new brakes on and the new rotor on, I'm going to make sure that I put the cap back onto the brake fluid, and I'm going to pump the brakes to make sure everything seats up good. Well, now that we got the brake caliper on, the new brake pads on, and the new rotor, I'm going to go ahead and pull these lug nuts off, and we're going to put the tire on. Well, now the tire's on, so we're going to go ahead and jack it up now, move the stands, lower it back down on the ramp, finish tightening up the lug nuts, and then back her off. Alright, got the wheel lowered all the way down on the ground, or on the ramp, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten the lug nuts all the way. Alright, now I'm going to back the car down off. Well, that's it for changing the brakes and the rotor on the 1995 Mercury Tracer. And if you like what you saw, rate, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you think. And, well, that's about it. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.